My husband, Asian, and I, American, welcomed our firstborn 4 weeks ago. The baby's healthy, thank God, but I'm exhausted, haven't fixed my hair, am barely able to shower, and cannot sleep. My husband's family pressured us to visit to meet the baby. I tried to hold them off as much as possible, but yesterday, I was surprised to find them standing on the porch. It turns out hubby invited them for dinner. I was embarrassed and felt like I wasn't ready for visitors, judgmental ones at that, because the house was a mess. Anyway, my husband sat with them while I fed my son. Then later, I asked my husband if we should order takeout for dinner. He said no, because his parents would find this rude and unwelcoming. He suggested that I go inside the kitchen and prepare something, anything, long as it's homemade. I said fine, then went and made some mac and cheese. The reason I prepared this meal is because of how easy it is. Once I served the family, my husband's mom looked at me and was appalled. I noticed something was wrong. She asked if I found it appropriate to serve her and the family mac and cheese. I asked, why not? And she went on a rant about how disrespectful this was and that I have no experience in what is right and wrong when it comes to hosting. I said, excuse me? Who said I signed up to host an unexpected visit from them? And she took it as I didn't want them there. Her husband said that they were there to finally see the baby that I kept them from seeing for an entire month. That's a whole month of his life they missed out on. We argued and they decided to go home. My husband said that deciding to serve his family mac and cheese was more offensive than serving them nothing at all. I told them that I was too exhausted to cook their traditional feast, that I was forced to learn from his mom. He took offense and said that I was being mean and disrespectful towards his family and his culture. I went inside the bedroom to stay with my son. My husband stayed on the phone with his family for an hour, then kept giving me the cold shoulder and refused to eat what I cooked in support of his family. I understand how some guests might find it offensive, especially his family, but I was just trying to make a quick homemade meal, as my husband wanted. What's wrong with mac and cheese? Am I the idiot? This isn't a culture clash. These people are just idiots. There isn't an Asian culture I'm aware of that doesn't practice some form of postpartum confinement where it's expected that the new mother does nothing other than rest and bond with the baby. If they were so traditional, they should have shown up with food, offered to clean the house, and run a load of laundry while they were at it. Not the idiot, by the way. I'm Asian, and if anything, it'd be my relatives coming over and bringing me food. No one would expect an exhausted new mother to cook a whole feast. Sure, boundaries don't exist in Asian families sometimes, but if OP's husband had even the thinnest backbone, he'd stand up to his family for her. And if he wanted to host so bad, why didn't he cook? Does he need a map of the kitchen? My husband would get a quick slap from his mom if he even suggested that the new mom cook for everyone. I'm South Asian, and I cannot fathom the in-laws coming over and not cooking if I just had their grandchild and they came over. It is customary for your parents and in-laws to take care of you during this time, not vice versa. Everyone's the idiot here. Why did you wait so long to let the parents visit? It sounds like there's more history here, because that delay, for immediate family only, not other visitors, would normally not be looked well upon. In my subculture, the grandparents need to meet the baby ASAP, even for a very brief visit. Not saying I agree, due to the whole patriarchal lineage thing. Girl, come on. The issue here is your husband. He has no right to talk to you the way he did, ever. Least of all, after you've just given birth to his child. You have a very long and hard road ahead of you. I strongly advise you to keep some money separate for when you need to leave. It's very common for abusive men to show themselves after thinking they have their victim trapped. This is exactly where you both are. It'll be very hard for you to leave, and he's showing his true colors. Please keep up your relationship with your own friends and family. You're going to need them, and when you do leave, you will look back on this moment and wish you'd left now. It's only going to get worse. So I, 27 female, have been married to my husband, 29, Tom, for 7 years. We have been together for 10. I work at an equine center with clients' horses and have been in the horse world for about 22 years. When I was a kid, an older instructor took me under his wing, Let's call him Will. He taught me nearly everything I know now and is considered a part of our family. We used to go to different regions for competitions and spend a lot of time living together with my parents and me, staying at his and the other way around and renting flats if the competition was longer than a week. It's important to know that Will has his own family, a wife around his age and a son, currently 39, married with a kid. My parents are also really close to him and his family. Due to how early he appeared in my life, I think of him as an uncle or a mentor and still talk to him about any problems I have with horses or ask for some life advice. Will is currently just over 70 years old and has some health problems, so I try to call him and visit him as much as possible since he did so much for my family and me. I also run small errands for him if his wife or son is not available for some reason, like I can go to the shop and give him a lift if I'm in the area. Now, my husband has always been hostile to Will. Will wasn't fond of him either, but he kept things civil, while my husband would blow up without reason. As I'm spending more time around Will, it became a real issue for Tom and his parents to the point of his parents coming over unannounced. They said how much it hurts their feelings for me to spend time with Will and his family instead of them, and that I should review my priorities since they're family. Now, that's where I can be an idiot. I have lost my cool and told them that Will and his family are like a second family and an extension of my own. I've informed them that he showed both me and Tom kindness and support, while my in-laws couldn't be bothered to visit or call us during any emergencies while Will was there. I have also told Tom that he shouldn't behave like this, since Will always treated him with kindness. This resulted in Tom storming off with his parents and calling me an idiot for saying that Will is more of a family than they are. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, and let me get this straight. In the comments you mentioned, they seem to view non-blood relatives as not family, yet they and hubby are mad you don't consider them close family? Oh boy, the hypocrisy is strong with them. Why are you married to him? Being alone isn't too bad. It beats having a crybaby of a hubby like yours, and there are better men out there than that baby you're married to. It's lovely that you're so close to Will and support him with running errands and other help. Your husband is jealous of this relationship, which is quite frankly creepy of him, since Will could be old enough to be your grandfather, and I'm sure you've never given him any reason to think your friendship isn't platonic. You treat him as part of your extended family. It's absolutely none of your in-laws' business who you spend time with. It's clear your husband has been telling them a different story to make them take his side instead of yours. I would ask your husband exactly what his problem is with Will, since his point of view is completely unreasonable to me. Our family consists of me, 35 female, my husband Owen, 37, our daughter Evie, young teen, his daughter Grace, 20. Owen and I moved in with each other 5 years ago due to wanting to get married. All has been going well in our relationship, and Evie likes this arrangement. Grace, on the other hand, has been acting out since the day I moved in. Grace has known me for 15 years and has never acted like this. She only started when I moved in, and we know it's because of her mother, who hates me. Since Grace turned 17, she has been violating every rule we had. Number 1, no coming home after drinking. Number 2, no friends over after 1 a.m. Number 3, no smoking in our house. 4, no guys over after 12 a.m. 5, don't play loud music late at night. And number 6, if you're going to go to the kitchen at night, be quiet. Grace destroys a lot of my and Evie's things. Yes, she's in therapy. She's always bullying Evie and saying really rude things to her. In addition, she constantly steals money from Evie's piggy bank. Owen constantly talks to her about what she does, but she never listens. Owen's and my final straw with Grace was today, when she told Evie that she was a disgusting affair baby that is going to be just like your witch of a mom. No affair happened when I met Owen. He and his ex-girlfriend hadn't dated for 4 years before me. So I told Grace to pack her crap and get out of my house. Grace said I couldn't kick her out since this isn't my house. Owen came home right when this happened and asked what happened, and I explained what happened. He told Grace the exact thing I said and that he couldn't deal with her BS anymore. Grace left and is now staying with her mom. Her mom has spammed, called, and texted us. Owen blocked her, and said he wasn't responsible for Grace anymore since she was an adult. Owen feels guilty for kicking Grace out, but agrees that she needs to leave. So, am I the idiot for telling my stepdaughter that she needs to move out? Not the idiot. Normally I would say leave her to your husband, but she attacked a child and destroyed your and her stuff. So you have to protect Evie and model appropriate boundaries for her. Also, your house rules seem fairly appropriate for an adult child, especially if you and your husband weren't charging her rent. Not the idiot, but barely. Grace sounds like the product of children having children and likely failing her as parents, all while watching her half-sister benefit from parents who were at least in their 20s when she was born. I imagine it's hard for her to follow the rules when her examples did not by having her at 17. So, not the idiot, given her behavior, but I hope y'all are continuing to keep her in therapy and support her otherwise. I don't see how that has anything to do with OP. She's in therapy and is supported, but in the end, OP is the stepmother, not the mom. It may not be her place to discipline, especially with her mom. I think parts of the story are missing. Your story sounds too one-sided. Anyone reading it can tell that you're not wrong about kicking your daughter out of the house. If you're that sure, why did you ask it here in the first place? And your story doesn't add up. How did you know Grace for 15 years? Do you know why she's acting out? Why does the kid hate you and your daughter so much? It seems like she's breaking the rules on purpose. I suspect we're missing a lot of info, which would skew any judgment. We've been together for 2 years, living together for 1. When we were on our first date, he asked if I pursued higher education after high school, which I didn't. I explained that I had failed high school, and he couldn't believe it. He was a high achiever and couldn't understand how somebody could fail high school. He finds it amusing to tease me, and truthfully, it doesn't bother me. I have a good job and I've done great things, despite not having a traditional education. Of course, at the very worst, it's a little annoying, but I refuse to lose sleep over it. Tonight we had friends over, and the conversation turned towards high school and what subjects we did. I listed off what I studied in my final year, and he laughed, saying that it didn't matter because I failed anyway. Then, since he'd had too much to drink, he took it a little far and started poking fun at how only idiots fail high school. I tried to play it off, but the alcohol got the better of me as well, and I snapped, responding, "That's why I earned $48 per hour, and you earned $26, right? Because you did so well in high school, which set you up for success?" He and one of his friends said that I ruined the night, but a couple of my friends said he had it coming. So, am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. He did have it coming. Not to be the leave him person so early, LMFAO, but he did that on the first date and has been an idiot about it ever since. Why stick around? You can find someone who doesn't find it funny to demean you as fun. For real, I recently lost a relationship of 10 years. He's intelligent and cultured and funny, but he's negative about everything. I expected to be sad about losing him, but everything feels so much lighter, so easier. I thought I could handle his negativity, and I did, but I didn't realize the price I had paid. OP, he told you who he really is. Listen, it would be best to be with someone who celebrates your accomplishments, not mocks what he perceives as your failures. I consider this breakup worthy. The fact that they've brought this up, making it a topic while drinking with friends, it sounds like a setup to humiliate her publicly. He was just mad she clapped back so loud. And the friend that agreed she ruined the night? I wouldn't doubt they were in on the gag. Terrible behavior and very telling of how little respect they have for OP. My girlfriend wakes up at 7 to get ready for work, while I usually get up at 11. I'm a light sleeper, so whenever she gets up from the bed, I'd wake up. I have no difficulties going back to sleep afterward. Also, because of our conflicting work schedules, we rarely see each other during the work days, so it's actually nice to be able to talk every morning and wish each other a good day. The issue is that before leaving, she'd applied deodorant and perfume in the bedroom. The smell is so strong that it makes it impossible for me to go back to sleep, and by the time I reach the couch, I've already lost sleep. So I asked her if she could apply them outside, but she refused. She told me that it's her morning routine to do it in the room, and I'll get used to it pretty quickly. It's been 3 months now, and I haven't gotten used to it, not even a little. I talked to her again yesterday, and she pulled up an article that says smell doesn't affect sleep. I took a look at it, and I told her that's not what the article is saying. While smell doesn't usually wake up people from sleep, it definitely affects them. In my case, it makes it impossible for me to get to sleep. I told her I didn't like it, and that instead of reaching a compromise together, she was pulling up articles to tell me I was wrong. I informed her that I would be sleeping on the couch during the weekdays. She replied that I was doing this to punish her because I know she enjoys kissing me on the forehead every time she wakes up. I told her that it had nothing to do with that. I just can't function with 5 hours of sleep, and reminded her that it also significantly affected me at my job. Finally, she reluctantly agreed to apply them outside the bedroom, but she was visibly upset. I prepared a nice bubble bath for her with candles and made her dinner, and this morning I took her to a restaurant she liked for brunch. We had a good time, but I can clearly see that she's still upset, even though she's trying to hide it. Was I really wrong to ask her to stop? Because I'm starting to feel like an idiot, and I hate seeing her like this. Not the idiot. This is a ridiculously small compromise for her. Whether there are articles or not, she's being unreasonable not to consider your feelings on such a tiny, easily fixable problem. You're not an idiot. You've simply asked her to apply her smells in a different room. That's all. I don't use sprays in the bedroom because the noise wakes my husband. It's a slight change to routine. Heck, I switched brands of shampoo because it made my dog sneeze. You do things to help others in your home. It shouldn't even be a compromise. It's just common sense. I'm not sure why you're doing nice things for her when she won't do the bare minimum for you. I laughed at the pulling up articles to explain how it doesn't affect your sleep. There was a guy at my last job who sometimes checked his fancy watch and said, the chance of rain is 75%. It's raining now, idiot. LOL. The key thing here is that you're not getting enough sleep. It's affecting your work. This can't go on. Let's look at this objectively. She turned an easily solvable issue of your actual physical discomfort into an excuse to argue with you, invalidate you, gaslight you, in the most literal sense, telling you that you're not experiencing something that you obviously are, and finally just tell you that she's not interested in changing something that is hurting you. And her only defense is the tautology that, but I need to do it this way because this is how I do it. This is my routine. And your response is to wonder if you're the idiot and then spoil her with bubble baths and special meals? You're not the idiot, but wow, you're setting yourself up to be mistreated on an ongoing basis if you keep rewarding her for blowing off your discomfort. She treated you like a doormat, and you rewarded the behavior. Understand that this will make her confident that her crappy treatment of you will lead to future rewards for her.